the stream's still going, but I don't have any audio either.
Hello.
Oh.
All right, it's working.
Hey. All right. Diagnosing audio issues.
Here we are.
I think I heard audio coming through the feed. Like the audio's working now. At least I did a second ago. Yeah, there it is.
All right.
All right.
This will now make a whole lot more
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. So we can reenact through untrained hand signals everything we said a little while ago. It was really not that interesting. It was just me ranting about who I am and why I'm here.
So anyway, let's introduce ourselves. How about?
Okay. I'm Jake French. Hello.
And I'm Jeremy Feebig. Hello. If you've never met us, we're the bald bearded guys who are often mistaken for each other because
It does
we're
happen
both
sometimes.
bald and bearded, and have the same initials.
Yep, it's
Minus
true.
The middle initial.
Yeah.
My initials are JR because my parents were huge fans of the TV show Dallas. And you are...
I'm JW, but my name is Jacob because my dad's a big fan of John Wayne, and it's named after Jacob McCandles in the movie Big Jake. So
Jake, because I asked you this question when our mics weren't working,
yes.
Why don't you tell us what you do?
Sure. So at Sweet Tea, I'm the master of note and figure, which is I do music and I do graphic design things as time allows. In the day job is the director of digital teaching and learning for Hoke County Schools, right down the road. So that's working with teachers and instructional staff on integrating technology into their instruction and to boost student engagement and learning and all that kind of stuff. So less about where to plug what various cables at any given time and more about how to use technology tools in an effective way.
Delightful. We have an instructional technology department at FSU. I love those people. And so we were saying, you work in the whatever, is it secondary education?
K-12, yeah, K-12, yeah.
I work in higher ed. Jake has worked his way up the ladder from a second grade school teacher when we met through the instructional technology department in Hoke County, and now he directs all of that. And I am the same professor that I was when I walked in. I have changed ranks, but really I've not climbed any ladders. That's all I'm saying. I will say I teach at Fayetteville State University. Go Broncos. And my job at Sweet Tea is artistic director, master of play, which mostly means I help make plays. It's very exciting. At Sweet Tea, you're master of note and figure.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So note, master of note is the play on music, which is kind of where I found my place to fit in with the company. I've never been much of an actor, at least in my own head. Several experiences notwithstanding, I guess, but I prefer not to do the acting. But I found my place in Sweet Tea through the music. My wife auditioned for a Sweet Tea show in 2014. When was Julius Caesar? That sounds right. Got cast, came back, and was like, hey, they do music. You should come and play your guitar in front of people because you've only ever played it in the bedroom. So the guest bedroom, way less interesting than it sounds. So I did. So I went along and found my place and kind of stayed there, doing the music thing. And then as our use of music evolved over the years, I kind of had my hands and feet in the mix of steering perhaps that direction a little bit. So that's the master of note is the music stuff. I still get lots of questions about that when I tell people that I'm involved with a Shakespeare and other classics company, and that we do modern music. And, of course, there's still the questions: why do you do modern music? Why is there a set list beforehand? Like, do you do songs during the middle of the shows? All that kind of stuff, which is questions I'm sure we've discussed ad nauseum with anybody who will listen.
Yes, and
But
I feel like I talk about it ad nauseum, and there are a bajillion questions still. Like,
Yeah.
why do we do it?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll talk about that sometime.
Yeah.
But we haven't, we haven't seen you on a Sweet Tea stage for a little while.
It's true.
Because of the COVID.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, COVID did a lot of things to a lot of people in many different ways. One of the things that it did to me and the folks in my department, besides education in general, of course, everybody went fully remote, remote learning. Students were learning from home, all that kind of stuff. And my department, at the time, I wasn't director. I was just an instructional facilitator. Normally concerned with being in the classroom with teachers and working on integrating technology in the classroom. Well, there weren't classrooms to be in at that point, and the technology was basically the same for everybody. You were on Zoom from home, at least for a hot minute. So our department involvement kind of pivoted pretty hard to more of the technical support side of things, and everything was just crazy. We were
I have visions of you standing in between stacks of Chromebooks.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty standard. That's even without pandemic concerns, that is true. But we pivoted to so we're providing support not just to teachers but family. We had a phone number line for families and students to call in. So everybody in education, everybody in general, just went through the ringer with that. Still are, but I can't even process the last couple of years is blurry.
I am by no means a prophet, but I expect that we're going to have a little bit of a January that reminds us of those early days of the pandemic.
I'm trying real hard to play an ostrich and keep my head in the sand and not think about it too much. It just makes me upset. I think I'm far enough into this. We all are. If you are like me, I'm far enough into this that talking about it out loud just feels like rehashing the same points that make me angry. So I just tend to steer clear.
Well, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, but anyway, so I was committed and stepped out for a while. So it's been probably 18 months or so since I've been involved in anything.
Now you're back doing some music.
Yeah.
Tell us what music you're doing.
I'm playing various instruments for our upcoming production of Romeo and Julie Lit, which is of course one of our Lit series.
Lit series.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. And I say it sounds fun as I look across the table at a fresh bottle of Buffalo Trace, although whiskey is not fresh by definition, or at least bourbon isn't. So tell us about the Lit series.
Great. So the Lit series started, I can't even, what's time anymore? It started a few years back with a clever play on words for lit like literature, but also lit like drunk lit. So the kind of the elevator pitch for Lit series is it's our drunk Shakespeare experience, which is take the memorable moments from name a Shakespeare play, keep them, get rid of the other stuff, supplementing it with music and improv and drinking games and all of kind of that goofy stuff, and then perform it in various venues that encourage a lit atmosphere.
Drinking.
Yes.
So we're doing those at the Arts Council of Fayetteville, Cumberland County. I like that venue, even though it's not the place you think of to get lit. It's a lot of fun. We have a custom cocktail that we do there. Sana's been working on that, and I'm excited about that. That's in a couple weeks, really. It's 2 weeks from today. We open with 4 performances at the Arts Council of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and then we move on to Patty's Irish Pub, the church at Patty's, in fact, which is one of my favorite venues, and then Hugger Mugger Brewing for a couple weeks, and that's in Sanford. I love those folks too. It's very Shakespearean feeling up there.
Yeah. Well, name aside, right? I mean, they're into the Shakespeare stuff up there for all sorts of reasons. But yeah. Hello. But Patty's here locally has been really good to us. I think they've become kind of a staple for where we go to perform shows. They ask for us back, which is nice.
Yeah, so, and one of their bartenders is also one of our actors, Justin.
That's right, Justin. Yeah.
So hooray, hi Justin.
Yeah.
Tracy says, Jake, happy birthday. And it is. We haven't mentioned this, but it's Jake's birthday. He's a New Year's Eve baby.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Jake. Everybody.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Jake.
Thanks.
You don't have to tell us how old you are unless you want to.
I was an excellent tax deduction for my parents. I made it in just under the wire. They got to claim me all year long, even though I showed up on December 31st. So you're welcome, Mom and Dad. I just turned the big 40 today.
Whoa.
So that's exciting.
I've been there. Not that long ago. Everybody thinks I'm like 50. I'm not. Just not.
I don't feel that different. You know, for the past 10, 15 years or so, I think, sympathized with parents or older adults in my life growing up that I always felt like these are these old sage people that I must listen to. But every year that passes, I'm like, I feel just the same as I did when I was 18, really. Is this really just what keeps happening? And I'm sure that's how my father feels right now, as he probably feels like he's 22. So I can sympathize.
The accumulation of responsibility.
Yes.
That's really it.
I can agree to that.
That's really it.
Yeah.
And mixed with a little, like, regret. I mean, that's I think I've encapsulated it.
That's probably fair.
So I'm gonna do a little commercial here.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about many things, Sweet Tea Shakespeare. Also, Nathan says, "Happy birthday, handsome man."
Aw, thanks.
So commercials. So we're in this studio with this new setup, and with the exception of the first 5 minutes, which were totally silent. Sorry. I'm figuring out how to press buttons. We've got this new studio set up with some equipment from the Arts Council of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and some of their funding comes from the North Carolina Arts Council as well. So we want to thank both of those organizations. Arts Council gave us a mini grant. They give us the maximum amount, which like never happens. We're very excited about it. And what it is, so you can't see this, but just below the screen is a new podcast mixer made by Rode, R-O-D-E. It's cool. It means we can gather around a table, and eventually when we get a couple other cameras here, you'll see the whole table. We can gather around a table and do what Sweet Tea does, which is tell stories and occasionally do music. So we'll do that. And one of the things I just have wanted to try forever and ever, which I'm going to do, I think now, is press a sound effect button. I don't know which one. We're playing roulette right now. Here we go.
I think I just heard a sad trombone.
You heard the sad trombone. So anyway,
mental note. It's this button. It's the sad trombone.
Sad trombone.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to label those.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we've got this new thing. We've got a couple new mics, some mic stands. We've got the thing that I'm looking at right now is a display that connects to this Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro. It's a camera switcher. And we only have one camera on right now, so there is no switching to be had. But eventually it'll switch to a camera there, and there, and there, and maybe up there. I don't know. We'll put some cameras in. We have up to 4 cameras, and we can like press the buttons, and it'll switch, and it'll do all that kind of TV stuff. And that's great for us in this room, in this studio, but it's also great when we take it out into the universe and like do plays and have multicam streaming plays. And we have more equipment on the way, thanks to a donation, a handsome donation from Melissa Posado. So we're going to grab a couple of those cameras I've mentioned, probably a new computer, and we're going to be all decked out. And anyone in the community, now we're located in Fayetteville, North Carolina, if you're seeing this from somewhere else. We're in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We have a studio here. Right now, we're in a room at Holy Trinity Episcopal Church, which is sometime venue of ours. And eventually we're going to move downtown. We're working out the details there. I'm hesitant to pay the rent yet. You know what I mean? But anyway, the studio and the equipment is available for use to anyone in our community who wants to use it. And it's on a sliding scale. If you've never heard that term before, sliding scale, just know it means you pay what you can pay to use the equipment. We'll do a little bit of training. I'll be honest with you. I just self-teach. I just sit in front of the thing and poke buttons until something breaks or it works. And so it's available. That's the point. It's like you can claim it. Sliding scale, including free. So if you're a person who COVID hit and you were like, you caught the bug everybody else caught, not the COVID bug, but the bug of like,
the creation
I need to
bug,
become a digital content creator.
Right, yeah.
And like, I need to be a TikTok millionaire and all this. Now is your chance. So you can come in, use the equipment, sign up. It's real low fuss. And you could use it for free in exchange for your labor. And that labor will benefit a local organization, maybe ours, maybe the Arts Council, maybe another place. But we're happy to do some volunteer hour trade for that as well. So if you're interested in the equipment and the studio space, which is suitable for camera work, we can do green screen, we can do multicam stuff as of next week. You can do your editing, your sound stuff, anything you want to do. So we'd love to have you, and just reach out to us via the website, sweeteashakespeare.com. We'd be happy to help. Last commercial for a second is Jake and I need tips. And mostly what we use the tips, and I'm not talking about advice. We're talking about money. And the money, the tips that you give us, link posted in the comments, by the way, or in the description, I should say, streamlabs.com/sweeteashakes. If you contribute a tip, two things happen. One, we get to buy Jake guitar strings. And we get to buy other people other things like the extra cables that they need and the all of the stuff, right? We get to buy our artists a drink at a lit show. So that's the number one and most important thing that will happen. But the second, almost as important thing is funny things will happen on the screen when you give.
Oh, off track. Nice. It sounded like a Taj voice.
Come on, Taj. Got you.
It is
It's
Taj.
Taj.
Hello.
Taj emerges. Hey, grab a chair over there and we'll squeeze in. Taj is here. We're going to talk to Taj. I didn't know Taj was coming, but that's delightful.
I saw you guys were live, and I was like, ooh.
Come on.
Oh, he saw us live and decided
You
to
can
swing by.
sit there,
Okay.
and then we'll squeeze.
It's the fit it all in.
Taj. But anyway, you make so there's like a actual little tip jar in the upper corner of the screen right there, and it will jingle jangle. And then also something exciting will happen. Sorry, down there in that corner, right in front of Jake, and it's exciting. So it will like literally light up the screen if you make a donation, and you should test it out with like something like 50 cents. And then if it works and it delights you, then follow up with $5,000. It'll be great. So enough of commercials. We'll come back to commercials in a little bit. We were talking a little bit about lit. We were talking about coming back to music. So we're going to continue that conversation and also fold in Taj. So Taj, tell us about you.
Hello, I am Taj. I've been with Sweet Tea since 2016 was my first show.
Get closer to the microphone, Taj.
I've been with Sweet Tea since 2016. That was my first show. Jeremy witnessed my worst audition that I've ever had because it was my first Shakespeare show, and thought that all of Shakespeare just was done with English accents. So I auditioned with awful.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
How do I not remember this?
Yes, I did. It was just me and him. That's why I think it was bad. It's quite bad.
You know, you don't have to hold my my computer back. You can if you want to keep it warm or something, or if it keeps you warm, that's fine too. And what do you do with the company? What is your role?
I am to help with things like pre-show, things of that nature, like assigning people their jobs as far as what we do, like people holding Golden Frame of Happiness, and when we're outside during the summer, people that play cornhole, and people that are assigned to the guest book, things like that, things of that nature.
What's your title, though?
Master of Whoop.
It's my favorite.
Uh-huh.
This basically the only exciting thing I get to do is to come up with people's titles, and that was my favorite. Golden Frame of Happiness, by the way, right back there over my shoulder. It's very exciting. We're using terms that nobody knows what they mean. We use pre-show, we use lit, we use Golden Frame of Happiness, we use, I don't know, people recognize cornhole, but like most of the other stuff, they don't. So tell us about the Golden Frame, and tell us, y'all, about pre-show.
Yes, so the Golden Frame of Happiness is a delightful frame that we have that we take around to the audience members during things like pre-show and intermission, and we hold it up and we ask people if they'd like to take a picture with just either their party or with us in it as well. We ask them to tag us in all of the socials, #SweetTeaShakes, and at all our handles at SweetTeaShakes. And during the pre-show and intermission, as I mentioned, we do a lot of singing. We sing a bunch of fun songs, and we encourage the audience to sing along with us. They're familiar with the songs, and we just let everybody know that they're there to have a good time and to get everybody in the spirit to watch a great show.
Yeah, pre-show's a concert. Pre-show's a concert, and you can pay attention to it or you can not. It doesn't really bother us. I mean, performers prefer that you pay attention, but as an organization, you feel free to do whatever you want. But there's usually food of some kind, drinking, joking, advertisements, banter, games, and more music. But that's part of that conversation we were having before, which is why do we even do it? Jeremy, you're the expert at this.
I will say why we do it. I have lots of different answers. The most fundamental answer is I founded Sweet Tea Shakespeare almost 10 years ago, and I wanted to. And it took us a while to get good at the music piece, but like I wanted to, so we did it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. But like there are reasons I wanted to. So we do Shakespeare in a particularly specific way, idiosyncratic way, where look, I have a theory. It's a little bit unfair, and we have English teachers involved in our company, and I don't want to pick on them too much. And I have 2 degrees in English, so I'm not this is self-critical. But a lot of people's experience with Shakespeare and the classics is like what they consider to be boring, like junior year of high school class, where you're looking at Hamlet or Julius Caesar or the Scottish play or Romeo and Juliet or whatever. One of the greatest hits. And it's like my experience, it's a little different now, but like my experience was we had overhead projectors. That's how old I am. And the English professor laid the overhead slide of like a Hamlet soliloquy on there and then took different colored pens and like marked the imagery and the alliteration and the blah. And it was like it was like treating the Shakespeare like a math class instead of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was like this code you had to crack open. Mm-hmm. And since then, I saw like plenty of Shakespeare, some of which was good and some of which was bad. And the good stuff had sort of music to it. And then I went to grad school at a place that folds music into everything they do with Shakespeare. And so I kind of took that and I like to think put it on steroids at Sweet Tea. So we do music before and intermission and in. So it's like music sprinkled throughout. Part of the reason is I like musical theater. Like that's what I came up on. And so I folded it in, and like it's just been part of the story ever since. But I will say, putting on my Shakespeare hat, which is right here, my professor hat. It's not very professorial, but I'll put it on. This is what Shakespeare did to get famous. See, they did concerts before and during the shows. All the plays are, not all, but many of the plays are very musical. And that's how they sold tickets. Like, I might hate your play, Bill, but I like the music, or I like the sword fights, or the actors are sexy. And that's why a lot of people came to the play. And that's why a lot of people come to the play now. That's why a lot of people go to anything now. That's why they go to church, basketball games, whatever. That's why they go. They're going for this and this and this and this and this. I call it value added.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Anyway, I'm taking my hat off.
Well, yeah, and like, so people think of the music from Shakespeare as like lutes and harps, and now that's outdated. But like then it was yes, Taj is our resident lutist. Yes. But you know that it was modern then. It was contemporary to what the time was. So we're just kind of keeping it contemporary now with what we do. The interesting. So what I was thinking about the other day when you were like, "Hey Jake, see if you can come up with any topics to talk about," and I was stumped. The only thing I could come up with was the music stuff, and thinking about in particular the in-show music, right? So there's times that we've used like an actual song in the show, in the middle of the show, but one of my favorite parts of the way we use music is when we need like mood setting music, and it's just like some underscoring. And I think about like name a Marvel movie, right? I just saw the Spider-Man, right? And like when everything is going down, there's music behind it, which serves to heighten the experience, right? So I think some of my favorite moments that we've staged over the years, and while the songs were great, what I really enjoy are the pieces. I guess I'll call them set pieces, where the music is a set piece under a scene, and there's actual. That's a weird way to say it, but there's acting going on over it, right? So like, I think about the ghost scene when we did Richard a couple years ago. I think about the music under King Lear's. The thunderstorm stuff was great, right? I think about the shipwreck at the beginning of Tempest and the way the music kind of underneath, like all that stuff is. Those are my favorite parts, like when the music is serving to heighten the action on stage.
Yeah, it's like grease. You know,
Mhm.
it just gets you there faster.
Mhm.
That's what I love too. I love that too.
Yeah, that's why, at least part of why.
It's part of
when
why
we talk about why,
it helps us sell tickets.
also
I mean,
true.
You know,
Yeah.
and since we put music in many years ago, like our company, this is not something I predicted would happen, but like our company has like some people do come for the Shakespeare. A lot of people come for the music. Lots and lots of people come for the music. And so like there's been this whole like identity emerge with concerts and stuff that we do, you know. That isn't, I mean, it's theater in the big sense, like everything's theater, but it's been this other thing, you know. It's cool.
It's also been a great avenue for looping in folks who maybe otherwise wouldn't feel like they belong at a Shakespeare company, like the Jakes and the Deans who like to be there to make the music, and then are also, you know, talk about value added. You pull in people like Dean. Hello, Dean, if you're out there, who brings
Hi,
like
Dean.
a
Dean's in
million other
Baltimore.
things. Yeah.
Hello, Dean in Baltimore.
Love it.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I did.
Oh,
Hi, Dean.
It's in the world now.
no taking it back.
Okay, what else do we have to talk about? I have games to play. But we should talk. So you're in Lit, right?
I am in
Tell
lit.
us what you're doing in
Yeah.
Lit.
I am Romeo in this upcoming Romeo and Juliet. This is my umpteenth
Yeah.
time being in a lit.
Get closer to the microphone, Tosh.
It's been pretty fun. I look forward to this one a lot. I've done 3 this year. 3? Yeah.
This will be the third.
The third, yeah. This will be the third one. And this is my first time doing Romeo and Juliet. So quite excited about that. I think more than people typically do, because it's the one that everyone knows. I actually like Romeo and Juliet a lot more than I think most people do, because we see it so often in things like school and stuff like that. Because I know you mentioned it being in school. My freshman years when we read Romeo and Juliet, it was the Scottish play my sophomore year and Hamlet my junior year. But surprisingly nothing my senior year, which was odd. But yeah, we have like a piece of the prologue, you know, is in it, and we started rehearsal 2 weeks ago, and I was like, whoa, why do I still remember this? Because my freshman year in high school, we had to memorize it as some little assignment, and then we had to stand in front of the class and do it. And I was like, ugh, I should not remember this, but I do, and that was quite a while ago that I did that.
Are you saying that Romeo and Juliet is the Nickelback of Shakespeare plays?
Yes, I think that's fair.
Not as bad as everybody says there is, but
Not as
nobody
bad
likes
as-
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. But also, I mean, which is a given for
Controversy.
basically everything that he plays there. But I also very much like Italy, and so anything that he does in Italy, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on board, at least for most of it. And so it's another play.
I also like Italy. My wife texted me a little bit ago to say we're having chicken puttanesca for New Year's Eve meal today. So
Mhm.
that's Italian.
I dig it.
Hooray. Just want to shout out to DJ Lipscomb, who just messaged us, hey, up and running, let's go. And I want to thank DJ tremendously for basically putting this whole room together. I mean, he picked out the equipment. He's been our consultant. He is with Exhale Creative. Go to exhalecreative.com, I think, and you can hire him to do some stuff. So interesting, tying all of this together. I met DJ at the beginning of COVID in a online workshop that was led by him and Derek Webb. Derek Webb is a recording artist we like.
Yeah.
And Jake and I went to his concert 3 years ago up in the Triangle, and we used some of his music sometimes. And anyway, I just went because Derek was saying, "Hey, there's this free class. Learn how to go COVID, go digital during COVID. Learn the pivot." And DJ was there, and I learned that DJ resides in Southern Pines, North Carolina, which is not so far from us. And so since then, we've just connected. He helped us out with a lot of stuff early on, just figuring some stuff out. And then, I call him every now and again and say, "Hey, I've got this massive project I'd like you to undertake." And he just does it. And here's the great thing about DJ. He's married to Corey. And Corey is the world's greatest massage therapist. And so if you need the best massage you've ever had, hit up Corey Bray in Southern Pines /Pinehurst / that whole area over there. And she will get you straight.
Delightful.
Yes.
Well, thank you, DJ. It's fantastic.
And he had some help this week from Josan John, who's a new company member of ours, who was great help on the sound in for Behold.
Yep.
And now she's pitching in. She's a streamer herself. She's consulting. She's helping us do all of the things. So thank you, Josan, as well.
Add it to the list of things that everybody's like, it's so easy. That looks so easy. You just hit a button, but nothing's ever as easy as it seems.
As
nothing,
is evidenced by the
as
first
easy
5
as it
minutes of this stream, where I had clicked, just so for future reference, I'm documenting this so I remember, I had clicked monitor only instead of monitor and output. That's going to kill you every time.
But I'm sure it looked entertaining.
Oh, for sure.
So here we are. I've got a game to play.
Okay.
But I would just want to remind everybody that it's Jake's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Jake.
birthday,
It is my
Jake.
birthday. Thank you.
He's got hand me the sweet tea swag, would you? One of Jake's birthday gifts today was this. It's a tote, for your grocery shopping. I've got one for you, Taj, as well.
Oh,
in
delightful.
the vehicle. It's not your birthday, but happy anyway. This swag right here is available for sale. It is not yet up on our website. So if you want some of this swag, just comment in the chat, contact us on the website, sweetteashakespeare.com. We will work out how to get this to you. If you're local, we'll just do a pickup drop off. If you are elsewhere, we'll ship it to you. It will soon be on the website, but there are also a bajillion things now on the website that you can buy. So if your holiday gifts that you received suck in some way, you can just replace them. Take the gift card and buy the swag. We've got t-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got all kinds of stuff, including sports bras, leggings, and soon-to-be tennis shoes, and they're all awesome. You could just wear Sweet Tea all the time.
As anyone should.
It's exciting. It's really exciting. So just go there and buy the things, and those are shipped to your house directly. And also, Jake, you have another gift over there. Apropos of the Lit series, he's got a little bottle of Buffalo Trace, which I had a thought at 9 a.m. this morning, which is like, hey, we could just drink the gift while streaming, and then I thought better of it.
I do have to get
Jake came on a
home.
motorcycle.
I do have to get home afterwards.
That's true.
I didn't even bring the cargo box, so I don't know how I'm going to get this home.
Just hold it and be like, officer,
It's fine, officer. It's not open. It's totally
So
fine.
I want to look ahead to 2022, what everybody's got going on. We've mentioned Romeo and Julie Lit. That's happening in January and early February. Sweet Tea also has 2 other plays we're doing at the same time in Raleigh with many friends up there. Aaron Alderman is directing. Haley Philippart is helping us produce. Former actor and now has become current actor again, Andrew Daniels is in there, stage managing Wade Newhouse, who you might remember from the Scottish play, and King Lear. Laura Parker, who you might remember from the Scottish play, and Cymbeline. and lots of other friends. Reese Harp, who you will have seen in our shows from this last year, Much Ado and Midsummer. They're in that, and I'm forgetting tons of other people, George Jack and some others. But they're doing 2 plays at the same time. 6 performances of each. They're stitched together, so we're doing like this. It's a series of plays Shakespeare wrote about the same story, same characters, essentially. Starts with Richard II, who's a king who is deposed, which means kicked out, and then beheaded later. Ooh,
Yikes, yikes.
And
Spoilers.
Then, his successor, Henry IV, takes over, and he gets into a civil war and some other stuff. And so we're doing those first 2 plays, and then next year we think we're going to do the next 2 plays, Henry IV Part 2 and Henry V, which is a big play. It's a famous play. And so we're gearing up for those as well. So that's just January, February. We're doing 3 plays in the next 6 weeks.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
That's a lot.
And then after that, Green Tea is kicking off with their winter-spring stuff, which includes a production of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, adapted by Claire Whitman. And then we're doing Emma in Raleigh. We're doing Much Ado About Nothing again here. We're doing Party at Jay's with Yellow Beanie, which is a local theater company and film company run by Mikey Hauk. He's adapted this piece with Claudia Warga, and the music is by our director of education, Sarah Chapman, and it's based on The Great Gatsby, and it's like you come to a party. It's a little bit like a play and a lot like a party. So we're doing that, and then we're doing Pericles.
My favorite show.
Yes, and that's going to be directed by Marshall Garrett, who graduated from the same program that I did.
Oh, awesome.
And both Mikey and Marshall helped us out a lot during the COVID with Zoom productions and all that. So we invited them to come direct for us. So we're doing all that and planning the 22-23 season and planning our 10th anniversary. We're going to have a big party. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be a big party. And then also some surprises, some big surprises you're just going to have to stay tuned for, literally tuned. But like we're doing some big stuff, so it's very exciting. What else? If you have questions, pop them in the chat. DJ is lighting up the chat. Buffalo Trace is. He says we couldn't agree more.
It's the staple bottle for the house.
I don't want to keep Jake all day long on his birthday, but let's play a game real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, this is great. So we're just going to play a little game. These are little matchsticks that I pull out of a box, and they have an idea on them. And we're just going to respond to the thing somehow. This one is great. And we're going to do it. We're each going to take one. Okay. So this says, collect advice from 3 creative heroes and do the opposite. So we're each going to take a creative hero of ours.
Oh, no.
And take an idea that they pitched, and then we're going to pitch the opposite. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
So
Yep.
I'll go first because my job is easy. As this is a Shakespeare company, I'm going to take creative hero William Shakespeare.
Naturally.
And I've got to think of some contribution he made, and then I'm going to do the opposite. So here goes.
Okay.
William Shakespeare is a famous playwright and poet. He wrote a very lovely play called King John, and we're not going to do it in the next 18 months. See, I did the opposite.
I dig it.
We're not going to do it. There you go. Jake, you want to go? Taj? Who's first?
I'll go before I forget because I said come up with something. So I don't know. Sorry, I don't know that I would. He's not necessarily a creative hero, but what's coming to mind is, I believe it's Malcolm Gladwell wrote 10,000 Hours, right?
Yeah.
To get good at
Outliers,
any
yes.
given thing, right? I've got a friend who is also an author that disagrees with it, and I think that I disagree with it too, which is that my personal philosophy is if there's something you want to learn to do, teach yourself to do it, and you can just about everything you can teach yourself how to do. But also, I am coming to the realization as I get older that I am okay with being mediocre at certain things. Does that make sense? Like
I
like
love mediocrity.
yeah, like I am good enough at certain things that it makes me happy, but I'm not an expert, and I certainly haven't spent 10,000 hours doing name a thing. But I'm good enough to make me happy, and I'm gonna stop stressing about being the best at any given thing. Because I don't need to be. If I'm happy, then I'm happy.
Good enough is good.
Yeah.
Taj, what about
good
you?
enough is good. So for me, I am a big fan of Marvel and superheroes in general, but Marvel more specifically. And so I don't know who specifically came up with the character Thanos, but I know Stan Lee is, the guy that was over the top of Marvel, along with others like Steve Ditko. And they came up with a character named Thanos. Some of you may know who he is. And he had a plan in which he thought to correct the universe by having everyone so that there was, with a snap and all the Infinity Stones. And that would allow for resources to be aplenty and people
Also
to thrive.
bald, bit of a chin problem.
Indeed, indeed. And I would just take the opposite direction of Thanos, and instead of having everyone and causing genocide on a scale that no one has ever witnessed, I would actually instead just double the resources so that there would be plenty for everyone with a snap.
I think you just killed the Marvel Universe from a concept perspective.
Perhaps.
In the span of about 45 seconds. So,
Way to go, Tash.
Kevin Feige, if you're listening, hire this guy.
Please do. I would work for free.
Don't say that.
No.
Always charge what you're worth.
True.
70 cents. Okay, so we have I have a game for our audience to play. As we enter the new year, you're doing new things, you're doing resolutions, you're doing whatever. I have one challenge from my matchstick to spark connection with people around you. You can do it today. It's like creating some moment of connection. Here it is. Help your neighbors with favors, like rolling garbage cans to the curb. Do it today, so they close out 2021 with a good taste in their mouths. Yeah? Not garbage, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Last chance, you can tip us. That's streamlabs.com/sweetteashakes. We're wrapping up for today. But the thing I want to say is, this studio is available to you if you want to use it. So just reach out. There will be info on our website very soon where you can just register. It's a sliding scale, so if it's $50 an hour, if it's $10 an hour, if it's free, we'll work that out. We want you to use it, and we want to tell stories and music and all kinds of other things around here. You will see our faces now and again in the coming weeks, both here and on stage. All the details for all the shows that we're doing are at sweetteashakespeare.com. And if you're stuck inside because of the holidays, or if you're stuck inside because of COVID, you should know we have a Stream Fest going on, which is a ton, like 40-plus productions that we did during COVID. I should say pieces of entertainment. Many are productions, but there are some other things. Those are available on our website, too, and they're free right now through the 6th, which is January 6th is. Anybody know the Shakespeare reference? 12th night.
Nice.
So, anyway, that's what we got. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next time, hopefully with one of you on the screen. TTFN.